Hi everyone. So in this video I am going to walk you through Lab 5-1. Alright, so in this assignment our objective here is to calculate descriptive statistics for assets, sales, and income for a bunch of companies in the retail industry. Alright, so this is the data file that they have given us for Lab 5-1, and we're going to calculate some descriptive statistics. Now you might recognize this data file. This was something that I used in class for our class meeting, where I showed you how to calculate mean, median, standard deviation, minimum and maximum for these same variables: assets, net income, sales. And I did it directly in Excel. So I just, if you remember, I at the bottom of this screen, I basically calculated all the things that this exercise is asking us to calculate already. So I did average, right, and I highlighted all the assets, and we calculated an average asset value of $8,695,000,000 for companies in the retail industry. All right, so you could calculate descriptive statistics individually, one by one. In Excel here, you could calculate these same statistics using a pivot table. You could highlight this whole table and calculate those stats with pivot tables. So there's so many different ways you can calculate these things in Excel. But in this video, we're going to use Excel's data analysis tool pack to calculate descriptive statistics. So we're going to go to data. And if you haven't installed this data analysis tool pack, which is right up here on the right, all you have to do is go File, Options, and then you're going to go Add-ins, and then you're going to go Excel Add-ins, and all you have to do is make sure this Analysis Tool Pack box is checked here, and this will give you access to all of the data analysis tools that we're going to use. All right, so I already have it, so I'm just going to click Cancel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight assets, net income, and sales. Those are the three fields or variables that I want the descriptive statistics for. And I'm going to say data analysis, and then I'm going to look for descriptive statistics right here in the list. I click OK. The way I highlighted these cells, or actually it's not recognizing that I highlighted the cells, so let's highlight these again. So I'm going to say highlight all the data that I have available, right? And then I'm going to tell Excel that the first row that I highlighted has labels for the variables. And we're going to put this in a new worksheet, and we want summary statistics. Let's do a confidence level for the mean. We'll say our alpha value. This is related to the p-value, and we talked about this in class. The p-value is what we use to assess whether or not something is statistically significant. So if we say an alpha value of 95, this is going to set our criteria for saying whether or not a p-statistic or a p-value is small enough. It's going to set that at 5%. That's all that's doing there, and that's all we want. So we're going to say put this into a new sheet. We'll click OK, and this is what we get. So Excel does a lot of the legwork for us. It gives us, for assets, net income, and sales, it gives us mean, standard error, median, mode, standard deviation, variance, kurtosis. This is measuring, if you think about distributions of variables, kurtosis is like the thickness of the tail. Skewness is whether or not the distribution is pulled to one side or not. We have a range, minimum, maximum, sum, count, and then we have this confidence level here. So this is how you produce descriptive statistics here in Excel for these variables. We'll notice that the average company has, again, about $8.7 billion of assets, 544,000 of, or maybe this is millions, 544 million of income, and then sales of $15.4 billion. All right. So just the mechanics of calculating or coming up with descriptive statistics. The second part of this lab is asking us to create a histogram for return on assets. So if you remember from your prior accounting classes, return on assets is net income divided by by assets. Net income divided by assets. Okay. So all we have to do is create a new column here. We're going to call it return on assets, ROA. And it's, it automatically formatted this for us, and we're going to say this is equal to net income divided by assets. Okay, and we'll format this as a percentage, 1 decimal place. We'll carry this formula down to the bottom. Right. We got our return on asset values, and what we want to do now is create a histogram for return on assets. So we're going to highlight column I, which is our ROA measure, and we're going to say insert. We'll ask Excel to recommend one for us to see if it kind of figures out that it's something we want to look at a histogram for. It looks like one of the recommended charts here is the histogram. So we'll click OK. We got our chart here. So here's our histogram. What else can I say about this? So along the x-axis here is bins of return on assets. So any company that has a, I wonder if I can rotate this a little bit. Format axis. Tick marks. Bear with me here. There is a way to, anyway, it's not important. There is a way to rotate these values on the x-axis so that they're more readable, but it's not important. So I don't want to waste time on that. But anyway, this is saying, here's the number of companies that have ROA between negative 61.1% and negative 53.6%. So these are the worst companies. And then in the middle, it looks like the average is somewhere between negative 1.1% and 6.4%. So the most repeated, or the category of return on assets with the most number of observations is in this bucket here, negative 1.1 to 6.4%. It looks like the highest is somewhere between 36.4% and 43.9%. All right, and I guess we should change this title. Let's call this Return on Assets, or ROA. All right, so that is all that we want to do in this video, and that's it. So this concludes Lab 5.1. Good luck in working through this, and I'll talk to you soon.